They said the meeting was routine, a closed-door briefing, standard security, cameras off. But somewhere inside that room, Vladimir Putin said something so bizarre, so out of line with official narratives, that the moment it leaked, it stunned the world. He claimed that many of the world's most powerful elites are not entirely human. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally. According to those present, he described them as hybrids, not born like the rest of us. Something mixed, something altered, something ancient. He said their habits are the giveaway, their cold temperaments, their obsession with control, their taste for darkness and secrecy, their need for freezing rooms that normal humans cannot tolerate, and their ability to make decisions that have no emotional trace, no empathy, and no instinct for human consequence. He said these figures are part of a lineage known in Russia for centuries. A lineage whispered about in folklore and intelligence circles. A lineage tied to the old stories about reptilian beings who walked among kings and czars and emperors long before modern governments existed. Creatures who learned to blend into societies by mimicking human behavior. Creatures described in ancient texts as cold-blooded. The room stalled. Some thought it was a joke, others a political metaphor. But Putin remained steady. He said these beings have lived among the elite for generations. They hide in plain sight because they hold positions where no one questions their habits. They travel with heavy climate control systems. They surround themselves with staff who sign documents promising silence. They claim to be visionaries, yet their decisions repeatedly harm the same populations they claim to protect. He said there is a reason for that, because they do not see themselves as part of those populations. According to the leaked account, Putin referenced ancient Eurasian legends of shape-shifting rulers and medieval documents describing aristocrats who showed no reaction to cold. He pointed to Soviet anthropological stories about tribes that believed certain rulers were descended from creatures from beneath the earth, always described as tall, pale, emotionless, and obsessed with power. Inside intelligence circles, these stories were once treated as myth, but Putin's claims forced analysts to re-examine old files. Reports from the 60s and 70s describing global elites with unusual medical records. Photographs showing world leaders with strange skin discolorations. Notes from bodyguards observing impossibly low body temperatures. Archived memos about political figures demanding extreme climate control for meetings. Patterns that made no sense on their own suddenly fit together. And then there were the sightings. Staff workers describing pupils that narrowed under bright light. Assistants claiming their employers never seemed to age. Journalists remembering interviews where something felt off, as if the person they were speaking to was studying them rather than speaking with them. Cold rooms, dim lights, medical bags carried everywhere. Protocols no ordinary human would require. For years, these stories were dismissed as conspiracy. But Putin referencing it inside a serious meeting forced the question into the open. Why risk saying something so extreme unless there was more beneath the surface? The leak multiplied. More people in diplomatic circles began adding fragments they had seen. A European minister who watched an advisor sit motionless for hours. An Asian diplomat who described a billionaire insisting on refrigerated cars. An American intelligence officer who remembered a classified file describing strange blood work from a political donor whose samples did not match standard human markers. These fragments raised the most uncomfortable possibility, that Putin was not speaking in metaphor, but describing something intelligence agencies have tracked quietly for decades. Putin reportedly claimed they are not invaders, but infiltrators. They thrive inside power structures because power structures allow secrets. They prefer positions where they control global direction without ever needing public approval. They attach themselves to monarchies, financial dynasties, and emerging tech empires. They guide without being noticed and alter the course of nations from behind curtains. Putin warned that their behavior is predictable. They seek cold environments. They form alliances with morally weak figures. They maintain cross-border connections because they do not see borders as meaningful. And most of all, they push policies that weaken public autonomy. Some analysts believe Putin mentioned the hybrids to undermine Western elites. Others believe he was hinting at something Russia discovered long ago. But the third possibility creates the most tension, that he said it because he believes it completely, that he has watched global leaders behave in ways that defy normal human instinct and concluded they are something else. In the weeks following the leak, strange things happened. High-ranking elites canceled public appearances. A well-known billionaire vanished. A European royal postponed events due to vague medical issues. Even stranger, climate control systems at a global summit malfunctioned, and multiple attendees complained that certain diplomats reacted with visible distress to the sudden warmth. None of these moments prove anything, but together they feed the question growing underneath the surface. What if the claim is not metaphor? What if the people shaping world policy have origins that do not align with the rest of humanity? The story continues to swirl because it strikes at a deeper instinct. People have always sensed that something about global leadership feels detached, cold, inhuman. Citizens have joked that certain elites lack empathy, that they behave like they are playing a different game entirely. Putin's statement did not create that suspicion. It amplified it. Now the world is split between those who dismiss it and those who see the patterns everywhere. The bunker architecture, the obsession with privacy, the refusal to appear without tinted glass, the loyalty to airlock spaces, the eerily calm reactions to disaster, the strategic patience that feels nothing like human emotion. Maybe it is all coincidence. Maybe it is political theater. Or maybe the truth is hidden in plain sight. Maybe the elites who rule nations, build empires, and shift global systems are exactly what Putin implied. Not entirely one of us. You be the judge. If you're awake, you already know what to do. Hit the link in our bio and subscribe to our free underground newsletter.